Hey guys, welcome to Chat with Nat with me, Natasha. My friends call me Nat, so you can too. I'm really excited about this week's episode, but before we get into it, let's go through the comments from the previous episodes. We had an episode with the lovely Mima, called Equity in the Journey. Please do check it out if you haven't already. There's a comment on YouTube from Ed Chido Matienga would say this was a great watch. Enjoyed the conversation, particularly on events and shows made for us with very few of us in the audience. Um, Thank you, Chido, for that one. And Edmund Tor said, I loved it. The energy, the chemistry, the topics, the takes. And Tor wants Mima to come back. So open invitation to Mima. And then on Instagram, at Rava Book, who said, me running to listen to the episode. And then she came back after she had watched and said, it was a really good episode. So thank you so much. And shout out to so it's at Rava Book. So she's got some books that she's like children's books, right, that she's translated into like a number of languages, Shona being one of them. So guys, do check them out. And then we had a comment on Spotify from Ness, which said, really enjoyed listening to this, Nat and Mamoyo. Thank you so much. And so many other comments over on TikTok. And then we had an episode with Chieza, well, engineer Chieza to you and I, where Chieza was sharing about her journey doing civil engineering and being a civil engineer. So that episode still very much up. Please do check it out. And you guys seem to loved it on Instagram. Like the reel did really well. Iya Okwasha, I hope I'm saying it right, said well done, loads of fire emojis. So do check out that episode as well. But yeah, those are the episodes, and yeah, check it out. Let's get into this week's episode. Right, okay, guys, this is the part of the episode that I was teasing and I was saying I'm so excited about. When you think about Switzerland, what do you think about? I know I think about chocolate. I know, guys, don't judge me. Don't judge me. Think about chocolate, think about skiing, you think about luxury, you think about watches, right? So, what happens when you blend Swiss watchmaking with African artisan and craftsmanship and storytelling? What happens is this blend, this fusion creates the first ever Afro-Swiss luxury watch house, which is called Maison Amahle. And we've got here, I always keep saying like I need to have like, the things where you appropriately introduce people. But I'm so excited. I've got here Nigel Ndlovu, the founder of Maison Amahle. Hello, Nigel. Welcome to Chat with Nat.
Hi, Nat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, now with that introduction, I'm like, hey, the pressure is on, but no, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No, I am so excited. When Norma reached out and she was like, you need to speak to Nigel, I clicked on your stuff and I was like, absolutely. I was looking at it, I was like, oh my God, I don't know, it's never occurred to me that someone can create like a luxury watch house. Like, and you just think to yourself, you just wear all these things. You think about Rolex, you think about, oh,
Right.
guys, if you're watching, see, he showed us we showed us the watch.
I got the watch in the house.
Yes. Yes. No, I'm so interested because I was like, this is the world that I don't know, right? And yeah, Nigel, I mean, first of all, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm
You're
doing
doing good.
great. I'm feeling much better now, even talking to you.
That that's amazing. So, like I said, I'm approaching this as someone who knows very little about, the world that you're operating in, right? So maybe if
Yeah.
you can start with, I guess, telling us what Mason Amahle is.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'll tell you about the brand itself, even how I got into the world of
Yeah.
watches. Same like you, Nat. I mean, I was a stranger to this world. But Maison Amahle, it's the combination, even from the name itself, is French and it's Ndebele. Maison means a home or a house. Amahle means the beautiful one. Okay. And so Maison Amahle is the world's first Afro-Swiss luxury watch brand, right? And so what it is, it's a love story, really. A love story between African heritage as well as Swiss craftsmanship. And so we find a way in which we blend raw regal materials coming from the motherland, from Africa, as well with the highest level of what we call savoir-faire in French, the highest level of craftsmanship, right? And so, when I say Africa, of course, Africa is a continent. And so I'm coming from the southern part. I'm Zimbabwean, grew up in Botswana, also in South Africa, trained in South Africa, now I'm based here in Switzerland. And so we're merging materials coming from mainly the southern part of Africa. And if you go, you'll see the watch itself. So, for example, what that looks like in implementation on the dial, we have 24 carat gold nuggets that have been placed on the dial. This has never been done in the industry before, mainly because 24 carats is very malleable, it's hard to work with. And in its raw state form, these nuggets are coming from Zim. And so coming all the way from there, tracing the provenance, the whole journey story, and then bringing them here to Switzerland and creating what we like to call timeless art pieces, really generational heritage that we believe will last a lifetime.
That
Um,
that's
yeah.
that's amazing. That's amazing. That I didn't appreciate that like some of the pieces are actually coming from Zim.
Exactly. So materials.
Oh
So
wow.
we exactly. So on the dial, so that's exactly what we do. You'll have a closer look when you see it, but on the dial, you do have nuggets. These are coming from Zim. And so yeah, we'll be exploring within the next few years different materials, raw craft materials, coming from Zim, Botswana, SA, whichever continent whichever country
Yeah.
we feel will have something to play with the story we want to tell.
That is so amazing. So is this the Zimbali? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
the yeah,
Ex-
yeah.
Exactly. So Zimbali is the name of the first collection.
Right.
Those who don't know, Zimbali is a neighborhood in South Africa, a well-known resort area in KwaZulu-Natal, and it is it means like flowers, right? And so that it takes the collection takes form of this kind of elegant silhouette you'll see on the K shape. And so this collection that we're launching is the Zimbali 000, the first inaugural piece that we have ever released on the brand. Only 12 pieces will ever exist of this collection.
Wow, wow. So why 12 pieces?
Yeah, because so I have to go back to the beginning.
Okay, okay.
The beginning of the inspiration behind this specific model, right? And so I was reading. It's funny when growing up, yeah, in school, of course, we learn history, but we don't learn a lot of African history, even growing up in Africa, which is kind of funny. And so it's only now, maybe about 4 years ago, I'm just curious about just genuine history, African history. And I'm reading about someone called Mansa Musa. The name might be familiar to a lot of people. Mansa Musa is known to be one of the wealthiest kings that ever lived. And so I'm like, okay, how did Mansa Musa make his money? I researched his uncle was someone called Sindiata Kita. Sindiata Kita, the actual name means the Lion King. And if you watch the animation Disney Lion King, it follows a very similar storyline to what happened in real life. Sindiata Kita is the king that built the Mali Empire in the 13th century, what we now know today as modern Ghana, even Mali. The Mali Empire in the 13th century was the largest and wealthiest empire during its time. Why? Because of large exports and of gold. Okay. So these guys, they were mining gold and selling gold in huge quantities. There's even a story that in one of Sindata Kita's pilgrimages, he gave away so much gold that it depreciated the value of gold. Okay. And so I'm like, okay, I read this story. Sindiata Kita, he's someone who grew up kind of like normal background, but he wanted to become king. And so he had to fight someone in his family, kind of like a cousin type of thing, to become king. The story is that he united 12 different tribes to ultimately join an army and fight to become the king. He unites 12 tribes, he fights, he wins, and ends up building the Mali Empire. Guess who's born later? Mansa Musa, who falls in the generational heritage of Sindiata Kita. So I took that storyline and I was like, how can I depict that into modern day society, taking that 13th century into the 21st century? And so each nugget you see, there are 12 nuggets. Okay, each nugget is a different shape, a different size naturally from the ground, representing the 12 different shapes, different tribes that were united, and using gold, 24 karat purest form of gold, because of the wealth that was created. And then, of course, only creating 12 pieces that will ever exist, one representing essentially one of the tribes. And so that's essentially to how we got to this Zimbali collection, drawing from that and bringing it today. And so even, it's more of a symbol of union, more of a symbol of strength, of power, that exists in today's world.
I am so fascinated because I'm getting a history lesson because I didn't read like, oh my goodness, I'm getting a history lesson. This is so fascinating. So,
Yeah,
okay. I'm trying to like figure out so I mean honestly I love this because do you know what
yeah,
I love about it, right? Is I'm like
yeah.
this guy has you can tell you've done your 10,000 hours in this thing, right? You know when you're speaking to people you're like, "Oh, okay. You've done your
Okay.
10,000 hours." But I want to go like before the 10,000 hours, right?
Yeah,
Because I was doing my Googles and I
yeah.
saw on our good friend LinkedIn that you did I believe you studied luxury branding or you did a master's in luxury branding, if I am correct.
Yeah.
Um yes, I guess how then do you go into, okay, I want to go into watchmaking, and is that all you want to do? So when we talk about Maison Amahle, is it maybe watches is the beginning, but actually the house itself is going to be more than that?
Yeah, yeah, good question. So, in terms of even going into the world of watches, um, I tell people there's the real story, and then there's the real story, right? And so, for me, my story is that I'm Christian, I'm a child of God, and everything I do is guided by my faith. Okay. And so at 16, I felt, and this is okay, for context, right now I'm in Geneva, Switzerland. At 16, I'm in South Africa. I'm doing my high school, and at 16, I already feel the dream to create watches. The passion for watches started earlier on when I was like 11 years old. Long story short, I repeated a grade when I was in primary school. And I've always been an immigrant. Okay, so I'm Zimbabwean growing up in Botswana, and Zimbabweans were known for brains. So for a Zimbabwean to repeat a grade, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So now, later, fast forward, this grade two, I repeat grade two out of all things. And then at 11 years old, I'm like, my friend gets a class prize, and the class prize is a watch. It's a Casio watch. So I'm like, oh, interesting. That's when my eye opens to watches. But Casio is just a normal, digital watch type of thing. I tell him, you know what? The next year I'm getting the class prize, which means you have to get the highest average out of all the people. The next year I work hard, I get the class prize, and I get the watch. Funny enough, that December, like within 2 weeks, I go back to Zim for holiday and visit my cousin down there in the village. She didn't have anything. I end up giving away the watch. And so I was just, that was when watches started for me. And every time I would buy a watch, I would end up giving it away. I always gave away watches. I stopped buying watches because I knew if I buy it, I'll end up giving it away. So that was me, 11, 16. 16, the desire, the dream to create watches starts. I start sketching. I can't even draw. I'm not a designer. I start sketching watches. I have no money. Of course, I'm selling like sweets, um, cold drinks and all of this type of thing in boarding school to make a bit of money. It's 19 years old. I finished with high school and um, I'm back in Bots and I get basically a prophetic word that I'm going to go to Switzerland and make watches. Only me and my family knew of this dream. I mean, who's in Botswana thinking of going to Switzerland? It doesn't, no one does this thing.
Yeah.
And so I get like a partial scholarship. I end up actually I literally Googled schools in Geneva, applied for a school. 2 weeks later, I was accepted. I get a partial scholarship. 3 months later, I'm on the plane and I land in Geneva, speaking no French. I know nobody and absolutely nothing. And the desire, the dream, the focus was always to create watches, mainly based off my experience that I had had 3 years ago. And it was always something in my mind for the past years. So I land here. I think everything is going to be cozy. Everything's gonna be nah. I hated it, Nat. I hated it. This place was cold. I felt like people are not so welcoming. This cheese thing, I'm not vibing with the cheese. Me, I want meat. I want the proper food. I'm like, man, this is not it. At the beginning, I move and I do a bachelor's. This is in digital business, innovation, and design. I do this, it's about 3 years. And I had basically almost given up on the dream of creating watches because I'm surrounded with the big brands. I'm surrounded with all of them, Audemars Piguet, Rolex, Vacheron Constantin, you name them. And I'm meeting the folks in the industries, right? And so I was like, I felt like I was, a small fish in the ocean. Until later onwards, I'm praying and I'm like, God, what do I do? I'm finishing with my bachelor's. I'm like, what career do I go into? And it reminds me of this dream.
Mm.
And so I was like, okay, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, then this is what we'll do. I have at the time, like, I'm just a passionate guy about watches. I know nothing. So I'm literally visiting boutiques. I would go to like the Breitling boutique, ask questions to the salespeople, take all the magazines, go to these fairs. I have friends who work in these companies. They hook me up with a free ticket, and I'll go to these places, talk to people, pictures, reading everything online. Until finally, I'm talking to actually a professor of mine, and I tell him of this is what I want to do, but I don't know how to stand out. And he's like, oh, because I always thought it was like a disadvantage of where I'm coming from. Nobody looks like me, nobody talks like me. And he's like, oh,
Yeah.
actually, you're from Africa, but there isn't an African luxury watch. And I was like, actually, that is true. And so that's how the quest began. Today, I'm 3 years in from that initial conversation to where I'm actually moving around, taking trains, meeting watchmakers. I didn't speak any French. Now it's better. I speak a bit of French. The watchmakers in the villages, they don't speak English. So I'm speaking all the broken French I know. Work with a good friend of mine. God is amazing. I can only tell you testimonies of testimonies
Mm, mm.
of how God provided people at the right time, people, designers. I'm meeting watchmakers,
Wow.
really. And then I'll also just DM people on LinkedIn, random people who are in the industry. Hey, I'm doing this. I have this idea. I had 3D images finally. I was working also at the same time. I put all my savings into the company. I don't advise that to anyone. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Do not do it. I survived by the grace of God. I put everything inside, every single cent I was making. I put every single thing in the business. invested a lot of time, a lot of effort. And then only about last year, I started my master's in luxury. It's called Global Luxury Brand Management.
Right, okay.
And so this was more on a focus, higher level on how
Mm,
do I think about building a luxury brand. And so that was not a natural thing. And so, yeah, I'm coming to the end. I'll be finishing actually in December later on this year. Right now, we're on a summer break. And so I'm doing both at the same time. And
mm,
then in terms of the brand itself, I think focus is the best thing, especially in today's market. I'm naturally, I love jewelry. I thought of creating like a jewelry line. But we'll see. I'll pray about it, but I don't think so. I think at the moment we'll just focus on timepieces, on watches, mechanical watches.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's interesting. And just out of interest, right? Because when I was reading up on it, like, what is movement? Because I kept seeing like movement. I was like, okay, this is technical. Like, what is it?
Yeah. So if you think of it of
Mm-hmm.
a car has an engine. And that engine is what makes the car move. It's the same thing in a watch. The movement
Ah,
is the engine of the watch. So without
right.
the movement, the hands don't move. It
Yeah,
doesn't tell time.
yeah.
And then in terms of movements, there's different type of movements. Like how
Mm,
you have a 2 liter, you have a V8, you have an electric engine. It's the same thing. In watches, you have the electric, which is your basically your battery.
yeah.
I don't know, the watch nerds would know, but you had the quartz crisis that happened in the 1970s. This is when Japan came out with the Casio and the digital watches, and the Swiss watch market crashed because Swiss watches were making only what you call mechanical movements, which are movements that you have to manually wind. And so digital watches were cheaper
Yeah.
and they are more precise. Even to this day, they are more precise than mechanical watches. And then yeah, and then you have actual what you call automatic movements, which when you move your hand, there's a rotor that winds there's a spring like this, and so this is what gives the thing energy. I'm a bit technical now, but it gives
Please, no, I love it. Yeah, go on.
so there's a rotor inside and it coils up a spring inside, yeah? And when this spring kind of expands and folds, that's what gives the watch energy. And that's what turns the hands until it has fully kind of expanded. And when it has fully expanded, it has no energy in it. And so it doesn't tell any time until maybe if it's an automatic movement, you wind your hand again and the rotor curls the thing again. Or if it's just a mechanical movement, then you have to wind the crown on the thing like this, and it
Yeah,
coils back the spring. And
right.
then after this is what you call a power reserve. When people talk about a power reserve, it talks about how long it would take for that spring to fully expand, to which the time is still it's still telling time without having you to wind the watch again. So that's movement. It's basically talking about the mechanics, detail, engine components of the watch.
Yeah. And so I guess similar to cars, right? Are there
Yeah.
people who are very kind of like purist who are like, oh, you've got an automated, like mechanical. I mean, I'm assuming like
Oh
there's
yeah.
that.
You know, like I have something to confess.
Yeah.
I'm not a nerd. I'm really not. Like I meet people and I'm like, gosh, the amount of knowledge they have is insane,
Yeah.
and they would obsess about the finest details. Like even when we're talking about movements, like um, there's something actually I will show you now, but you might not be able to, you won't see it. Only in person will you see it. There's certain level of details. So at the back of the watch, you can actually see the movement. Okay. And this is like these level of decoration and details that exist on the movement that are only done by hand. And only the real connoisseurs will be able to tell, is this a great finishing or is this not a good finishing?
Yeah.
and yeah, you have people that are really crazy. It surprises me. It
No,
surprises me.
from what I could see, like it looks like there's like a triple engine. It looks very like complicated. I'm like, wow. And you can almost like see the seconds like ticking. That's
Oh yeah,
amazing.
yeah. It comes alive. It comes
Yeah.
alive. It's a beauty. It's really a work of art,
Yeah.
It comes alive. You see all these mechanical things moving because that's the thing. Like it's not electricity. It's
Mm,
literally mechanics. Like you put small components together. There's hundreds of pieces that go into this thing. You assemble it and you literally just wind it and it comes alive and it tells time. So even just that
yeah.
whole thing is just like wow. It's like
You
yeah.
know what? I should confess, like I've never thought about that, right? Because I know, like especially like back in the day, growing up,
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of people like had the mechanical watches, like your
Yes.
Casio, whatever, right? And I'm
Yeah.
I'm kind of having this image, like where you remember you pull it out and then like you're winding it. But then
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God, I've never thought that it doesn't have a battery. Like that's actually so now I understand like the price point
Oh
because
yeah.
actually this is amazing. Like wow, wow. Okay. No, like I'm learning. I'm learning.
True.
I want to
True.
go back a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So where you were talking about, your dream and, God giving you this vision. And I like that you say that, it was only you and your family that
Yeah.
knew about it, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I must say, like, it sounds like you've got such a supportive family because a lot of people, especially being migrants, they'll be like, you want to do watches, no, like try and look into something else,
There's
right?
something else. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess tell me about that in terms of just that support from your family because I
Yeah.
honestly I think that's just amazing because a lot of times people have dreams, but
Yeah.
if no one has seen it be a thing,
Yeah.
but just having that support to be like, okay, you want to do watches? Fine, that's fine. We'll
Yeah.
support you.
Yeah. True. There's two angles to it. I will, or name rather three. I'll speak to my personal experience, and then from the child's perspective, and then from the parent's perspective. I'm not a father yet, but I
Yeah,
can imagine.
yeah.
My experience, I must say, is a very blessed experience. Like I'm super, super blessed to have the amount of support that I do from my family. And family, literally my dad, my mom, and as well as my brother, right? So there's four of us. And like I'm saying, this world of watchmaking is foreign. It's foreign to all of us, you know. And I mustn't. It wasn't just a breeze in the park, That part, of course, it comes with a little bit of resistance, but I think rightfully so, mainly because it has not been modeled before, right? And what I would say is more of the blessing and the privilege that I have is that I was brought up in a Christian home, okay? And so when I talk about God giving me the dream, I'm literally going to my parents and telling them, this is what I received from the Lord. And so they understand that language. And it's not necessarily something I kind of just thought about out of the blue.
Mm.
Okay. And then again, like if we're putting it into time frame, it's 10 years. Okay. Okay. It's 10 years. And trust me, my parents, have always been immigrants, Zimbabwean, proper, traditional. So, Kanti, where is this thing that you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Year one, year two. Danami, this watch, are you sure it is going to work? Year three, year four, five. Okay, ma, just wait, just wait. Seven, eight, nine. We only got this first prototype last end of the year last year. And
Wow.
that is only when I can come with something physical.
Yeah.
and say, look, okay. And so there was the actual thing of it wasn't just blind faith to be like, okay, we trust you, go do this thing. I mean, I was at the time when I couldn't draw, I was 2 a.m., 3 a.m. trying to draw, trying to picture this thing, like what I was seeing in my mind. And so they saw that, they did see that. And also when I'm coming home on holiday, I'm a late owl. So it's not like I
Yeah.
just be awake all the time, but I would work during the day and then at night I'm pushing this thing. And so I think also for them there was number one, that thing of, okay, we trust you, Lord. If this is what it is, then And then there was the second thing of the actual work that they were seeing being put, right?
Yeah.
And so that's like my experience. The second thing I would say is more of like to the child is that don't expect everyone to align with your vision, because you are the one who got the vision. Like, God gave you the vision, he would have given everybody else the vision if he
Yeah.
wanted them to do it.
Yeah.
So it don't feel sorry for yourself. It's for the mere fact that he has given it to you means that he knows and believes that you have what it takes to accomplish it.
Mm.
Okay. And so there's that aspect of it of like, yes, they won't understand you, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You cultivate it until they see what it is that you have been seeing, and then only later will most people, get along. And I
Yeah.
think there is that thing of, I'm speaking mainly from the believers as point of view because that's my experience. But I have friends from all over. I have Muslim friends, I have people that don't believe in anything. And so I'm even trying to picture like people who don't have that North Star of faith.
Yeah.
I mean, for them, yeah, I think it's still this principle still applies in the
Mm.
same way. And then for parents, I think really, but I think now it's better. Like, people know of YouTube. They know, like when I was growing up, and I remember I told my parents at one point I wanted to be a music producer. They were like, music, what? This, this, chief, that's not a career point. Parents nowadays are more aware of different things that happen. And I would say maybe for the parent, give the child a point of grace, a point of period, like it takes time to build. It takes time to build. And of course, just notice the level of commitment
Yeah.
that children show.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then if worst to worst, it could be just an interesting story.
Yeah, and it's important to have those interesting stories. When you're speaking, I don't know why, like I was thinking about, like in the Bible, obviously, because you said you're Christian, when they
Yeah.
talk about the sons of Issachar, right, who were able
Yes.
to discern the times, and
Yes.
I don't know, I just thought of that because I was thinking like, you working with time and
Yes.
just even having that ability to be like, hey, this is what I'm supposed to do, like this, this is the season for this. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that kind of sort of ties in, and it's beautiful that you've sort of had that North Star. Staying with family, right? Because I
Yeah.
saw that I was looking at your website, like you were talking about your father, like when he moved from Zim, and you said that he was a boiler maker, right?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
boiler maker. So I was
Yeah.
wondering, and I think you kind of alluded to it that in a way,
Yeah.
like this vision, it's you're not starting from ground zero. There's been like this sort of like craftsmanship, like in your
Yeah.
legacy, in your DNA. So yeah, so I'm just interested in, I guess, in hindsight, like the things that you may have learned, like I guess maybe seeing your father like work with his hands, and
Yeah.
like just having that craft that may have been passed down to
It-
you.
it's priceless. It's priceless. You know, for the longest time, funny enough, I thought my father and I are opposites. But it's only now I'm realizing actually we're more similar than I would have even thought. Because physically, like facially, I look like
Yeah.
my mom, and my
Right.
brother looks like my dad.
Right.
And so my dad has always been a very industrious man. Okay. He's by far the hardest working man I know in my life. In my life. Well, not that I'm 50 years old, but but I've come across a lot of people, but this man, there's no words that can describe what I have seen modeled before my eyes.
Yeah, yeah,
And so a lot of the things was not necessarily said with words, but with things that I saw. His background is more, man, it's of course, like growing up mid 90s, they went through the Zim war. They went through this, the process to how Zim got to where it is,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then ultimately him moving to Bots and him working as a boiler maker. People, well, boiler maker guys, it's those people that work with steel and all that they do, like, and so he was working in the mines and very modest job. My mom was a nurse. And so, yeah, I remember there was this one time, actually, my mom got a promotion and my dad got a promotion. And finally, hey, it was nice because we're no more eating
yeah,
porridge, eating paloni, paloni and cheese. Yes, yeah. I must have been like 7, 8 years old, but I
yeah,
noticed the shift. Like, no,
yeah,
this was no more just Movite. I was like, yeah, this is real stuff, bread and bologna and toast. Yeah, so that's the kind of background I grew up in, both very, very hardworking. Um, Later on, my parents decide to start a business, and so they're in the crane hire business. And even then, man, that's when it went like full force. They're both working day jobs during the day.
yeah.
After work, they clock off at 5 and work
Mm,
in the business until like 10, 11.
right.
And I remember this one story I'll tell you. My dad comes back. He usually left in the morning around 7, comes back home 4:30. He changes overalls. It's both very labor intensive work. And he changes overalls and goes to the business.
Yeah.
Something went wrong in the business, and so he had to work longer hours.
Mm.
When I see the men coming back home
Hmm.
at like 5:30 the next morning,
Oh my goodness.
5:30 a.m., and I see him showering, changing overalls, and going to work for the next day. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
that is next level. I
Yeah.
I mean, I try and work hard, but there's levels to this thing. And I asked him one day, I said, because I was curious because I was like, what is driving this man? And I asked him, I was like, you know what? Like you work super hard. Like what drives you? And then he said very without even blinking, he said, I work for you guys, meaning me and my brother. And so my parents have sacrificed every single thing to do the best for my brother and I so that we can have a good life. And so coming to now, fast forward to today, man, I pay tribute to the existence of this brand, to him, because I've learned so much, even with things. I mean, like these things I tell stories of, and people think it's crazy. My dad is he's very straightforward. Even things with like tidiness and cleanliness, he doesn't play with those things. And so that's my normal upbringing. And I'm only realizing now people feel like I have a little bit of what they call this thing. It's not ADHD, but kind of this kind of, I don't know what they call it.
I don't
But
want to
maybe
diagnose you, but I know what you mean. OCD.
it's OCD, yeah, one of those things. I probably have them, but and so that actually helps me in what I'm doing today because I'm dealing with the finest things. And so actually a subtle thing, you will notice it on the watch, but the hands are not straight, okay? The hands, the ones that tell the time. When you see the images, you notice that they're a bit curved. And the
Hmm.
reason for that is elephant tusks. So when you look at elephant tusks, they are curved. My surname, for those who don't know, means elephant, and Ndlovu is an elephant. And so that emblem is on every single watch that we create as a tribute to my dad as well.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I need to save up. I need to save up for this watch. I need to
Oh
save
yeah.
up. And you touched on it before, right? So when you said like
Yeah.
when you moved to Switzerland, you were kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, I'm not sure. I guess I'm just interested in a little bit more in terms of that experience. And obviously this is like an Afro-Swiss, like
Yes.
house.
Yes.
Have you been able to find like Afro-Swiss community? Like, what's the vibe like? Are there a lot of us out there? Or
No, man, this place is very interesting, I must say.
Mm,
And yes, the brand is Afro-Swiss. In the sense is it's not 100% Swiss, it's not 100% African. Okay, there is that duality, that contrast that coexist in the same piece, right? And so it is an embodiment of also my experience being an African living in Switzerland. And so they are, I must say, like I was saying at the beginning, man, I hated this place. I didn't like it. But now, man, now I love it. It feels like home in a sense. Like when the plane lands, I just feel like this peace,
yeah.
this, tranquility. I'm like, okay, I'm home, you know? At the beginning, I've been here now almost like 6 years. And I remember at the beginning, there wasn't really much of those African communities here. So I'm in Geneva specifically. It's each place is different. You have Zurich, which is another big kind of city for Switzerland. It's not the capital city. Uh, and so it's different in that sense of like they speak a different language. They speak Swiss German. Okay. Like in Switzerland, there's three languages. Either you're speaking Italian, French, or Swiss German, depending on the city that you're in. And so I'm in Geneva, which is the French part. And the good thing is that you have the francophones. You have the African francophones, okay? Like how you have African anglophones. And so most of the Africans here are from the Francophone regions, mainly because of the language. And we're
Ah,
closer to France, right? Yeah. And so you have people coming in from that end. There are way more communities now than there was before. I didn't like it at the beginning, mainly just because it was just too foreign from what I was used to.
yeah.
But now with it's much better. I have community.
That's good.
It's yeah, like I'm saying, it feels like home in a sense.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I've gotten used to the cheese.
I was gonna ask about the cheese.
Ah, oh my gosh. So one of the things is like, as soon as I hear Switzerland, I hear expensive, you know. And it's true, it's not a lie. This place is one of the most expensive cities in the world, okay? And beef is one of the most expensive places you can buy beef.
Ah,
And
okay.
for people who don't know, Botswana is blessed with beef. There's
Yeah.
more cows than people. And so we eat a lot of meat.
Yeah.
I can you can eat meat breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. That was my diet.
Yeah.
Coming here, to only see beef once or 2 to 3 times a week. I was like,
Yeah.
no, something's not right. But no, man. Now it's much better. I mean, like I enjoy it. I enjoy
Yeah.
it.
No,
Yeah,
no, interesting and interesting. Like when you say like Mason Amahle, right? I was watching one of
yeah,
your videos
yeah.
where someone in the background was sort of saying, "How do you say it?" And you were trying to say Amash, and then I liked the way the person who was speaking was like Mason Amahle. I was like,
Malay.
I was like, actually, that works, right?
100%. Here it depends who I'm talking to on
Yeah,
how I pronounce this thing. Here people say Amale. Amale, Amale. So I'm like, Amale, we'll just move it. Amale, Amale is okay.
yeah, yeah. No,
But
I liked it. S sorry, I liked it. Like I was like, okay, this sounds really, really, really cool. I get what's the other thing that I wanted to say? I guess, you know, is Switzerland like the Hollywood of watches? Am I correct in saying that?
Oh yeah. Oh, 1000%. 1000%. You know, you discover more when you arrive in the place. Um, like I would say Switzerland is a very interesting case study for people to study in terms of because you become curious. Switzerland, for perspective, is a country of about 8 million people. Okay, the currency they use is the Swiss franc.
Hmm.
They have not participated in any world war. World War
Yes.
One, World War Two, they were not part of it, but they have been able to have good relationship with the EU
Hmm.
and not using the euro, let's say.
Right.
And they've been able to build an economy that is self-sufficient in the sense of the economy is very much providing for the world and not always necessarily just based on its own natural resources, but in a way of transforming raw materials into finished goods. So that alone, a lot of it can become a very political
Yeah.
conversation for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I'll encourage the viewers to just research in terms of the economy of Switzerland. I find it fascinating. I feel like this is super amazing. You
Yeah.
know, starting from the chocolate industry, going to the financial services,
Yeah.
going to tourism, going to watches. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is amazing. So watches here is a very interesting history. Um, because like you'll research on it and realize it was actually the Christian communities that were kind of chased out from the French region, and they were forbidden to make jewelry, and so they transformed that skill set to making watches. And so that's how
Oh.
it starts from that kind of history going. Um, and so, and then here, so you have, I would say, of course, the biggest brands in the world in watchmaking are in Switzerland, and it's for a specific. It's by design.
Hmm.
It's not an accident, and it's a very. What I realized is
Mm.
like with the people that are really into watchmaking here,
Yeah.
it's not just the profession.
Mm.
It's a way of life, like things in this country just work. Like the
Mm.
buses are always on time,
Yeah.
things are proper, the streets are clean. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
How? You
Yeah.
know? And so and then also if you're talking about the actual trade of
Mm.
watchmaking, it's a thing that is considered to be passed on from generation to generation. So it's not uncommon to find watchmakers whose forefathers used to stay in this village and they made
Yep.
watches and their children made watches and that type of thing. So
Yeah.
that's a kind of like a common storyline you'd hear. That's up in more like what you
Mm.
call Neuchâtel, La Chaux-de-Fonds. These are
Right.
like the Swiss watchmaking villages. I'm
Mm.
down here by Geneva, where you have
Hmm.
the headquarters for Rolex.
Right.
Rolex is the biggest luxury watch brand in the world. These guys,
Mm.
they sell almost 1 million watches in a year.
Mm. Mm.
Um, and so, yeah, all the big brands are here by design and
Yeah.
intentionally so that the people are so like involved in the work and in the way of watchmaking and precision that
Yeah.
for some people it might drive them crazy,
Hmm.
but for them it's literally how you are supposed to do things.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I love this. I'm enjoying this conversation. We're gonna shift gears a little
Yeah.
bit as we're
Yeah.
almost coming to an end. Because Nigel, time is money, guys. Time is we have to use mechanical precision.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so here's a question, right?
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts about slightly shifting gears from luxury watches, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are your thoughts about people wearing, like their fitness watches or whatever at like a black tie event? Yes or no?
Hey, putting me on the spot here, Nat.
Yes or no?
Oh my gosh. So on my socials,
Hmm.
I go by the tagline, "Can't trust the nude wrist."
Yeah.
And it's for this particular reason. There's something about just having a good watch that
Yeah.
completes an outfit, you know.
Hmm.
But watches are also one of those things that are very personal. It's a
Mm.
very like it's a matter of taste, you know.
Yeah.
They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I'm not beholding everybody's eyes. So, but I'll tell you, for me personally,
Mm.
that's a no-go. I cannot. At the black tie event and you're rocking an Apple Watch.
Who's going to count my steps? Like, if my steps are not counted, did I really do 10,000 steps?
No, trust me, if I see you with the proper watch, trust me, I know you're doing perfectly fine. No need to count steps. You are doing perfectly fine.
Okay, okay, I'll keep that. I have been guilty of just wearing this everywhere, so I will keep that in mind.
But I must
Um,
say, though, side note, I mean, like, um, what you call these Apple watches, all these digital watches. I'm not against them. I think rock them, but do have a nice watch.
okay,
Buy something. You don't have to buy something for tens of thousands. Even
yeah.
something $200, nyana. Buy something nice.
If Nigel, give me the $200, yeah. Okay, next question. What kind of person wears Mason Amash?
Yeah. So our mission is to create and celebrate the unconventional. Right. And so in the very essence of what we do is that display of juxtaposition and and showing the beauty of being unconventional. So when we look at the people that have really made strides in this world, that have done things, change makers, things that people that have driven initiatives forward. They're unconventional in their thinking. They're not necessarily involved with the pack, but they're leading the pack. And so that's who we create watches for, people that are unconventional thinkers. We like to describe them as people that color outside the lines. It's someone who is a maestro of style. They are someone that has vision, someone that's walking in uncharted territory in many different aspects, but very much a leader, um, an unconventional thinker, really. And we create watches to just celebrate that person, really that embodiment of living grounded in today's reality, but being driven forward by a compelling vision.
Mm.
And yeah, those are people that wear our watches.
Who's your dream collaboration?
Oh, black coffee. Oh,
Ah.
oh yeah, 100%. You see if I can, woo, that'll be proper. I want to create a timepiece with black coffee. We'll create a whole line, okay?
Hmm.
Like how you have a Zimbali collection line. We have 000, which we have just launched.
Yeah,
After this, we're gonna create 001
right.
going on. I want to create a whole black coffee line with him. and yeah, and really just explore things that have never really been done before. He's someone who is unconventional in the sense, you know, like the man DJs with one hand,
Mm,
you know,
mm,
and this guy
mm,
is
mm.
DJing in stadiums abroad and
Yeah.
all over the show, right? His story is really impressive, and I really do believe that he has a story to tell that is not only for today, but for even for his children's children. And so I believe that we can really create something amazing with him.
Oh, listen, we're putting it out there. We're putting it out there.
Yeah.
And I think Black Coffee is in London next week or something. So
Oh
I'll
gosh.
have a word.
Put
I'm
it, put
joking.
it. Say something for me.
I'll
Put
put
in a word.
something. Okay, gold or silver?
Gold, one time.
Yeah, gold or silver. Okay, gold.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Vintage or modern?
Oh, I love vintage.
Mm-hmm.
I love vintage. Even so, it's so funny enough. I love cars. I'm more of a car head than I am a watch guy.
Yeah.
And if you think of ah, these are like car people, 1969 Dodge Challenger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Basically, it's in the Need for Speed movie, the one that Vin Diesel used to drive
Okay.
back in the Too Fast, Too Furious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that. So anyway, that age, that vintage era
Yeah.
there, that's the one. Even with watches, like vintage all the way. I think there is a twist though. There is a
Mm-hmm.
twist in terms of translating that vintage into today's contemporary world. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a must because you're talking to new consumers. You're
Yeah.
talking to people that you know what would like to call global citizens.
Yeah.
Like even just talking about my experience,
Mm-hmm.
I've always been an immigrant, but and so home for me is a very interesting term.
Yeah.
And so you do modernize it to talk to the consumers of today and people that are very much global citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of design aesthetic, we do vintage all the way.
Amazing. Okay, so last one. So you're wearing your Maison Amahle watch, right?
Yeah,
You're in your vintage, car driving along the Swiss
yeah.
roads. What are you listening to?
You know, I mean, it's a very tough one. I can't give you one song. It's a very tough one.
Give me two. Or an artist, or yeah.
If it depends.
Mm,
If it's like a Friday evening, I'm bumping a little bit of um Moda. Moda is a Afro house tech
mm-hmm,
guy.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Is in South Africa. Um and there's definitely gospel.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like I was just listening. This song has been, I ran a marathon like 2, 3 days ago.
Oh wow, well done.
Thank you. And there was this song I was playing on repeat for the first 5 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
5 kilometers is almost like 30, 40 minutes. And it's called Christ Alone. It's a new song.
Okay.
Um, and it's by this 2819 worship. 2819 is a
Philip
church.
Philip Anthony.
Yes,
Yes, yes,
exactly.
yes.
These guys, they
Ah,
just started a worship group and they
yeah.
released this song called Christ Alone.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay, I need to check it out. I need to check it out. I need
that
to check it out.
100%. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
playing those gems.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, okay. No, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, I know your brand is built around time, right? What's the one thing that you wish people would stop rushing through?
Man, there is this kind of philosophy which I noticed more in the Western world,
Mm,
which is how we're kind of like chasing after time. Like
yeah.
there's always places to be, something to do,
Mm,
and I get it. I think there's a
mm,
genuine logic to it.
mm,
But sometimes, man, I think we shouldn't miss the most important things in life.
yeah.
And that is what. and the big message of what I'm actually trying to do. So
Mm,
in this juxtaposition, yes, there is materials, but there is a time philosophy to it.
yeah.
Is that, it's even there that, that luxury is not in time we have, but in how
Mm,
much how deeply we love within that time. And so it's an invitation really to sometimes just to slow down, man. Um, take a breather, um, like, and just enjoy the finest things. Time with family is precious, time with the loved ones, and really just, take time to rest.
yeah. Yeah, no. Rest
uh,
is very important.
rest is important, and really that's a philosophy that I really love to encourage in today's society.
That's amazing. Nigel, I have enjoyed speaking with you. I didn't know watches could be this interesting. Like you've taught me, yeah, you've taught me quite a bit.
Thank
Um,
you.
in closing, is there anything that maybe you wanted to say? I guess maybe like for people who are listening, right? Who are thinking,
Yeah.
oh wow, this sounds interesting. Where can they find you? How can they kind of, because I'm sure there's like watch people who are listening to this and thinking, Natasha should have asked this. Like, how can they keep up with you? And I guess what's next for you guys?
Yeah, 100%. Well, you can Google my name and
Mm-hmm.
then everything will pop up, or Google the brand name Maison Amahle.
Mm-hmm.
Amahle is Amahle,
Mm-hmm.
or Amale, as we like to pronounce it here.
Yeah.
Amale. And just go to the website
Yeah.
and you'll find everything pertaining to the brand. For me personally, reach out to me on Instagram and on LinkedIn. I'm most active on those two platforms.
Mm.
Instagram handle is Can't Trust the Nude Wrist, but even
Mm-hmm.
if you just Google my name, you'll find me there.
Yeah.
And so that's, yeah, we can keep in touch and all of that, and it will be a pleasure, to connect with other people as well. And
Amazing.
yeah, for the brand, like we're in a very exciting times. Like I was saying, we just launched this collection just about 2, 3 weeks ago. And so right now is very full steam ahead, and pushing the brand and getting it to different people. And so but within, the vision, really, we are going to be the biggest luxury watch brand on the African continent. That's the dream. Um, and yeah, I think, well, yeah, really that's where we're going. And I do keep ahead. There are some exciting things I can't mention as yet, but within the next few years, man, we're just gonna do what we're good at in terms of releasing untamed pieces of art. And really what we do wanna hope and bring is another level of appreciation of time, love, and joy to people's lives, because ultimately that's what matters. I mean, luxury watches are fascinating, yes, but it's metal. But what is actually everlasting are like the relationships we have and what we do in our present time. So we really just hope that this is a reminder of that. And yeah, and we'll just carry on, doing this.
Ah, amazing, amazing. Well said. And like, I'm really fascinated. I'll be keeping up with everything that you're doing and just wishing you all the best. Nigel,
Thank you.
thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Nat. Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Bye. Bye, guys. Lisa
Bye.
Legoshe. Bye.